And 1 and 2.
You already hit live. It's already live. Trash.
You know what?
Amateur.
Shut the hell up.
Push play.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is Kenneth Berry here. Man, Peter's so disrespectful.
Stepping on my toes for the intro, but it's all good. Touchdowns and Tangents Radio. You know what it is. Live from the Good News radio station in Los Angeles. I'm Pete Camarillo, and he's Kenny on the boards.
Wow, you were just.
Yeah, I called you Kenny.
People don't just call me Kenny.
I always think it's funny when you go into like new spaces and like I call you Kenneth or something, and people are like, or you identify yourself as Kenneth, and people are like, damn, he just gave his full government name.
Yeah, but then when like people get to know me and they start calling me Kenny, and then someone says, "Wait, your name's Kenneth?" The fuck? Like my friends get insulted. Like the ones
I've had people listen to the show and be like, "Is his name Kenny or Kenneth or KB?" I was like, "Yeah, I just call him whatever is appropriate for that situation." Yeah,
that actually works.
Called him Barry.
Yeah, and it's weird when you call me Barry sometimes. I'm just like, wait.
I used to call you Barry a lot more, I think, especially like in the early
Sundial
episodes.
Days,
yeah.
Like that's the weird part. It's certain people, like if they call me by my first name, like I feel violently disrespected.
But yeah, man, you know what it is. Touchdowns and Tangents Radio, episode 81. If you're listening 82? In the podcast space, no, it's actually 81.
Sure, because I recounted the edited episodes.
It's 81.
I thought it was
because there's 84 total, and there's one bonus episode that was a duplicate, and there's like 2 or 3 pre-shows.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. All right, so yeah.
But yeah, if you've never listened to this audio experience before,
this cacophony of sound,
you can expect a lot of analysis, aka the touchdowns. And the second T usually stands for tangents, but it can also stand for therapy. It could stand for tantrums. It could stand for
telepathic pettiness.
Ooh, that was nice. But otherwise, why don't you go ahead and tell people what they can expect and what this podcast is like, Kenny?
You can expect tangible and intangible lessons. But this podcast is kind of like when you have a rough day at work and you're this close to wanting to beat that one coworker's ass, but you don't for some reason. And like that feeling of euphoria once you hit the parking lot or whatever. Even like when you're just you're at the gas station getting something to drink on the way home. And then you just have like a thought of clarity. And you laugh hysterically at it and then go about your day. And it just totally transforms your whole day. That's what this podcast is kind of like.
Yeah, man. I think that's pretty accurate. I think
the foster kid that you never knew made your life better. Or vice versa. Stepdad, whatever. Same energy.
But yeah, man, when you really think about how this whole show came together, it really just started out of an urge to be heard and an urge to really create and to not just show that we could do what other sports media does and better, as in having better, more fulfilling analysis and takes, but that we could also add our own personal element and make it something completely unique and different.
Yeah, hence why all our episodes have different names.
Yeah, and really,
they're all like inside jokes.
Yeah, pretty much. They usually have something to do with a combination of what's kind of trending in both sports and hip hop, as well as whatever sort of syntax Kenny feels like using that week.
And also whatever personal things we're going through in life at the moment. That makes it that much more hilarious. Shout out to the bungalow.
But yeah, man. So enough intro.
A shout out to Cool House because they had whiskey flavored ice cream. Yes, I love you, Cool House, and I don't care who knows it.
Yeah. So let's start off with the topical news of the day. This national anthem thing just will not go away. So we've had a couple developments over the past week or so. First, there was a whole Jarrell Casey basically coming out and saying that he's pretty open to continuing to protest.
Putting his fist up in the air.
Despite the whole policy that the NFL released about giving the players the option to either abstain from being on the field for the national anthem or forcing them to stand for the national anthem. Now, the NFLPA pushed back on that a few weeks later and filed a grievance against them. And guess what? Just about an hour ago on Thursday, the NFLPA and NFL released a joint statement. Yes, not that kind of joint. I mean like together. Yes, the NFLPA and the NFL actually agreed on something. And the NFLPA actually didn't get pushed over for once, which was just as shocking. But basically, they said that they will not have a policy on the national anthem, that they will leave it at a standstill, and basically leave it as it is. Now, on top of that, we also had the Dolphins coming out today where they had a mini camp with rookies that came in, and they basically issued out a standard fine chart, which the NFL actually created to hand out to rookies, basically showing a scale of what kind of fines you face if you protest during the national anthem. After that, the Dolphins got all kind of heat about that, and pretty much it was a whole back and forth on Twitter. Like, the Dolphins were basically just saying, hey, we're doing part of the policy, even though they put it underneath conduct detrimental to the team, which could face a suspension up to 6 games. Yes, Jameis Winston got 3 games for groping a woman.
And yes, Ben Roethlisberger only got 2 games for essentially sexually
assaulting. Okay,
bro,
you need to leave him alone, all right, man?
No.
I know you're upset about it.
I'm not leaving Ben Roethlisberger alone. I'm not leaving any white man alone who commits sexual crimes and pays it off in court, and we just stop talking about it.
Yeah, but that's not just a white man thing. It's a man thing.
Yeah, but only the black dudes are getting thrown in jail for it, because ain't no white dudes out here getting thrown in jail for it. Famous ones. It doesn't even tarnish their legacy like that.
Here we go.
Okay,
do you know why though?
Like we went over this debate. No.
Money.
Guess what? My money don't mean a damn thing compared to like a white cop out
That's
here
what I'm
killing
saying.
Kids. And it's not because
it's because they have a lot more money than you. You make $12 an hour and they make $80K.
First of all, I make more than 12. Don't disrespect me like that, bruh. Don't disrespect me.
Okay, you can out yourself if you want, but whatever.
It's more than that. Don't disrespect me.
Okay, whatever.
I'll beat the shit out of you.
I think you're just disrespecting yourself.
You're just mad because I have better healthcare insurance than you.
I really don't, but I think you just made it worse by acknowledging it. It could have just been one of those things, but the fact that you acknowledged it means that there was some truth to it.
Assuming that my wages, you're just gonna assume like, oh yeah, you still make $12 an hour, like disrespectful.
Whatever, it really doesn't even matter. That wasn't even the whole.
Don't throw me in the kiddie pool and then get mad because I'm mad that I'm.
That wasn't the point of the take, and that's not what you should be mad about. The fact that you're mad in the details shows that there's proof to it.
Because I'm petty. Anyways, it's because I'm petty.
Anyways,
and I appreciate details.
Anyways, I don't even know where I was at. Basically, conduct detrimental to the team, which can cost a fine up to 6 games. It's along with missing flights. It's basically a vague clause that a bunch of shit falls under. So the Dolphins put it under there. And basically, if you haven't been following the story, the whole policy is putting the discipline on the teams. So really, the NFL made this whole vague policy so that they wouldn't have to deal with it, and they would just let individual owners deal with it it comes.
It's like the principal making a rule that the principal's never really going to enforce, so the vice principal has to do it, and the vice principal just shits themselves and falls right back in it.
So, yeah, pretty much.
And then they make the hall monitors enforce it. Yeah.
And even with this whole retraction of the rule, it doesn't really do anything because, like I said, the policy wasn't really even a good policy to begin with. All it really does is make us talk about it again, as we're doing here, Which,
and
to be honest,
it also reinforces the stigma that the people who actually believe in it, like the owners and people high up, are going to enforce it. And even if you, let's say, you still protest, well, you're going to be ostracized too. In the back of their minds, they're not going to forget that. They're going to treat you the same way. So it's just really unfortunate and stupid as hell that they even did this in the first place. You don't see any. This isn't happening in any other sport. And at least black players in the NBA
because
can actually still protest.
Because the other leagues already kind of have policies against it.
Yeah, but I mean,
so
in terms of the NBA,
you can't really compare apples to apples.
Yeah, but
there.
in terms of the NBA, no one's getting fined for wearing T-shirts or putting their fist up in solidarity. You know what I mean? The NFL, remember Andrew Hawkins? He wore a T-shirt for Tamir Rice years ago, and he got fined for it. A T-shirt for a 12-year-old kid who was murdered in Cleveland in a park by himself by some racist-ass cops. And all he did was wear a T-shirt.
Okay, Kenny, but you know that's how football is played. You know how
that's
you
the
know
politics of football.
You know that's football at every level, though. Like for real, like
because in high school it's a little bit different.
No, it's really not.
Literally, there were high schools all across the country who were kneeling.
It's really not, because I've been on teams, and I've coached on teams where I've literally had coaches say, "I better not see one of my players kneel, or else I'm going to run them into the ground." And I've seen, and I've been on a team where, shout out to my boy Wu, who was in here a few episodes ago.
But where did you go to high school at?
Who got kicked out? Who got messed up for having white cleats when we were all supposed to have black cleats? Like, I've had people not play because their spat was the wrong color. Like, that's how football is, and it's like, yeah, that was the IE, but
that's high school football. That's different.
Even coaching in the Valley was the same thing. And that's what I'm saying is it doesn't matter. It's the culture of football. Football is about control. Football is about discipline. Football is about standing in line. Football is about being a collective. They don't want individuals.
Okay, but let me ask you this
question. And
Marcellus
Wallace talked about that a lot. Yeah, so shout out to him.
Let me ask you this question, though. When we were both playing high school football, did anything the principal have to say usurp anything that your head coach was saying? And be honest. Like, the principal would say something to the school, and you'd be like, I'm a football player. I'm not going to get in trouble. Be honest. That culture exists, too. So, realistically, if you're more concerned about what the head coach is saying, and in high school,
I think
it's more concentrated power with the head coach compared to the college and pros, where it's out of the coach's hands.
I disagree.
Athletic director's hands.
I disagree.
There's more power, concentrated power in a high school.
I disagree.
You just said
I disagree
that
because
cats were not playing because of wrong colored spats.
Can you let me finish?
The principal would have been like, "Nah, you can't do that." Coach,
can you let me finish?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like the whole owner versus coach dynamic, right? We've had that whole thing play out, power struggle. Ultimately, the owner usually wins because he's cutting the check, but they don't always agree either. And usually, at least in the short term, the head coach usually wins the battle, but the owner ends up winning the war. So, again, I think that goes to your principal and head coach metaphor. Yeah, I did air quotes, and that was condescending as fuck. But I don't care. Touchdowns and Tangents Radio at Pete Certified. Yeah, dig.
Bruh. You feel better about yourself?
Yeah, I did.
Congratulations, you got to win.
Because I got lost in your metaphor, and then I found myself, and then I fucked you up over it. So, yeah, I'm ecstatic.
That was just trash. I just wanted to do that just to clear the air because I felt like there was
so you can wake up.
Nah, just because like your take was trash and I wanted some positivity to get over that. But seriously though, when it comes to the owner of the Miami Dolphins enforcing that, he can subconsciously, like you said with the whole spat situation, without saying it, they can still enforce something they want done, even if there's no rule in place that says it. Like coaches can enforce a behavior in certain situations, and I'm saying if we're comparing it from the NFL to high school, it's worse at the high school level.
Well, for sure.
But on the same token,
for sure. But you're missing the whole point of what I'm saying.
No, I got what you're saying, but I don't think that's the. I don't